Hello, candle lovers. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Greg, and this is All About Candles. I'm your self-proclaimed Canadian candle connoisseur. I have a review for you today from Goose Creek. This is Vanilla Frosted Pine. Ooh, I had high hopes for this candle, you guys. I believe this is one of the candles that Kent from the Candle Channel designed. And I have to say, he did a fantastic job. I think this looks absolutely gorgeous. It looked stunning when it was burning as well. Absolutely no complaints on the packaging on this candle at all. And I really wanted to like this one because I really like the way that Goose Creek does a lot of their vanilla blends. They have a way of being able to project vanilla fragrances that not a lot of other candle brands do, in my opinion. And I really have enjoyed a lot of their vanilla candles. You all know I hold myself out for a good vanilla candle. I was hoping that this would be a little bit like Vanilla Balsam from Bath and Body Works, but maybe with an even like richer sort of vanilla to it. And that's just not quite what I got. The scent notes are forest pine, cypress woods, and vanilla. And oh gosh, this I'm gonna have to go off of memory here because I can't really be smelling that candle anymore. I'll show you why in a second. It wasn't as nicely balanced as I wanted it to be. You had a fairly like top heavy, astringent cypress note, and then there wasn't really much in terms of like a mid-range to this candle. And then on the base, you did get a little bit of vanilla. It was a nice and smooth and like clean vanilla, but something about the way that the wood notes were blended in this, well, cypress, forest pine, it was just a little bit too sharp and astringent for me on top. And overall, the fragrance, I just didn't find it to be very nicely balanced. I didn't mind burning the first like 2/3 of it. And in fact, once you had a nice, good, deep, even wax pool, then the fragrance did warm up a little bit and come across a little bit smoother and a little bit nicer. But this is nothing like Vanilla Balsam from Bath and Body Works. I think that it just wasn't nicely balanced enough, honestly, in terms of a fragrance. I couldn't really 100% get behind it. I didn't dislike burning it, but I guess maybe my expectations just kind of led to disappointment. I had really high hopes for this one because I would have loved a really gorgeous like vanilla forest type of situation. And this was just a little bit too sharp and stingy for me, you know? Like those pine needles were like prickling my nose buds a little bit too much. It got almost a little bit like cleaner, like Pine Sol. It got a little bit Pine Sol for me, unfortunately. But like I said, it was all right when it got going. But I mean, this definitely isn't going to be a repurchase or a recommendation. I'm afraid because the candle performed in terms of strength and throw. The candle performed fairly well. I'd say that it was mostly like a 6.5 or a 7. I think some of the burns where it opened up quite nicely and I let it go a little bit past like 2 hours, definitely maybe even a 7.5, like definitely no complaints in terms of some of the really good burns on it. However, I couldn't let it burn very long because this was a sooty candle, you guys. Look at this. Now, it's not quite as bad as it looks. I finished hate burning this candle outside. But before getting to, for me with Goose Creek, we have like a 2-hour rule with a lot of their candles. They say that to avoid sooting, you shouldn't burn it past 3 hours, but I really feel like with their 3 wicks, 3 hours is like the maximum that you can go with any of them. And I really recommend keeping these candles down to just a 2-hour burn. Once once it got around to that like 2 hour mark, I would look at it and it was just unapologetically sooting. It had fairly thick and tall sort of ropey wicks on it, and regular like white colored wax, not so white anymore. I will put up a little bit of video footage of it right now. This is what it looked like right before I decided to call it a day and put it outside. It hadn't gotten this murky. When I went to burn it this time, I trimmed those wicks and the wax kind of looked fine. Maybe it was burning for an hour and a half or 2 hours, and I looked at it and the soot was just billowing. I went and I looked in the wax pool and it was getting really murky and gross. And so I just blew it out. And then the subsequent burn, I kind of like put it outside, like outside of my like living room window, and just kind of enjoyed the glow from the beautiful packaging. And because at this point, the fragrance, it had been too damaged for me to want to put it in a candle crock or under a heat lamp. Like when I went and I looked at it this time, it was just billowing soot and the fragrance smelled really like dark and oily and strange. And so yeah, this candle got banished outside and I could like see it burning through my window and kind of just enjoyed the pretty packaging that way. But this is just unacceptable. And I want to be very clear with you guys that like I trim my wicks and I don't let these burn for longer than 2.5 hours. I never think I even let this burn to a 3 hour point. So I would love to hear from some people. If you had a better experience with this candle than I did, I'd love to know how you did it, because this one just took a really bad turn for me. Ugh. Yeah, not impressed, guys. Not impressed. Anyways, that's all I have for you folks today. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. If you could hit me up with a like, comment, subscription, that would really mean the world to me. And until next time, my dear, gorgeous, and beautiful candle-loving friends, let's burn some candles and bitch about it. Thanks, you guys. Bye now.